Woo! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kevin Hoop Show. If you guys are new here, if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button real quick. Just real quick, hit it right down there. I'd really appreciate it if you are new here. But without further ado, we are talking about Islam Makhachev, what's going to happen next for him, and Alexander Volkanovski, what's going to happen for him, as well as at the end, we're going to be hitting on Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane, giving some predictions and breakdowns on what's going to happen in 2 weeks when those two heavyweights fight for the undisputed heavyweight belt. So tune in for that a little bit towards the end, around like 7 to 8 minutes, all right? But we're talking about Islam Makhachev, Alexander Volk, real quick. In my opinion, we have Islam Makhachev who's come out and said on interviews that he doesn't call out his opponents. He's not going to go out and make call outs. He's not going to do the extra work, quote unquote, that a lot of other fighters will do. So in my opinion, if that's not going to, or if that's how he goes about things, then maybe we have the Alexander Volkanovski rematch. But in my opinion, I think that's going to happen at the, if anything, at the end of this year or sometime early next year. But if we are looking at things just, where people are ranked and everything, I think that the Beneil Dariush versus Charles Oliveira fight is a perfect number one contender fight to then see who then goes off and faces for the belt against Islam Makhachev. So I think you have Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira fight it out for the number one contender, and the winner of that fight goes and fights for the belt. It seems pretty fair in my opinion. Charles Oliveira just had the belt, and I don't think he got a rematch, but I don't know if he necessarily deserved a rematch getting freaking subbed in the first freaking round. So in my opinion, I do think that Beneil Dariush versus Charles Oliveira is a perfect number one contender fight for Islam Makhachev. Now, Beneil Dariush has come out and said he's liked the way that Islam looked going up against Volk. Volk made Islam Makhachev look human. He made him look beatable. So I think a lot of people now are like, all right, we have the somewhat game plan to beat this guy. Let's fucking go for it. So I do think that could be an interesting fight, especially because Beneil Dariush has, a lot of good grappling. He has a lot of good ground game. I think a lot of his fights go to the ground. So I think he seems more comfortable on the ground than he would be on the feet. So it'd be interesting to see if that matchup happens, because I've been a fan of Beneil Dariush in the lightweight division. I was about to say light heavyweight, but I have been a big fan of him in that lightweight division, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table when it comes to grappling. Moving on, we are going to be talking about what is next for Volkanovski. My fucking man, Alexander Volkanovski. I do think that, an Islam rematch would obviously be entertaining. I think everybody would think that. But, that's just me. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Islam versus Volk, would you like a rematch? I had two guys in my last couple videos say that the rematch would be good. We were talking about the pound for pound and how Alexander Volkanovski is still pound for pound number one. And I think a lot of people are kind of happy with that. Islam Makhachev got the win in the ring and got the belt. Alexander Volkanovski has the more experience, is the one who went up in weight. And I really like the one guy's comment. If you guys go back on the last video and look at the really long comment, the guy did an absolutely great breakdown. I wish I remembered his name. I'll try and remember his name for the next video. Give him a shout out, because I appreciate that dude. He gave a good breakdown on why he thinks that, this is why Alexander Volkanovski's pound for pound number one. And that's the shit I'm looking for in the comments. So thank you if you know who you are. We also just had the Josh Emmett versus Yair Rodriguez, which was for the undisputed featherweight belt, which is, Alexander Volkanovski has the undisputed one. So I do think that, Yair Rodriguez is up next. That fight is definitely going to be up next if there's no Islam rematch. So Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez, which I think is going to be, I think it's going to be personally a little bit of a breeze for Alexander Volkanovski. But at the same time, I do think it could be challenging, because Yair Rodriguez is one of the most diverse fighters that we've seen coming up in any division right now. Not only does he have good striking, not only does he have good grappling, he makes things just a lot different and kind of gives it his own pizzazz. He kind Makhachev has his own unique style, and that can be, really exciting for up-and-coming fighters and can be really dangerous for fighters that haven't fought against a guy like that or haven't fought him in general, just because you can't really plan for a guy like that. So I do think that Yair Rodriguez, because of his diverse style, and I even heard Rogan and Eddie Bravo and all those guys talking about it on the last Fight Companion. They were talking about how Yair Rodriguez is one of the most diverse fighters in the entire UFC. Not only with his leg kicks and how he strikes in general, which I think his striking is very different, but even just what he does on the ground and certain things he does on the ground, it's just really weird. And how he makes combos from the feet to his fists, I think is absolutely beautiful. So if it is Yair Rodriguez versus Alexander Volkanovski, in my opinion, I feel like after Volk has prepared for Islam Makhachev, he's basically fucking prepared for anything now. But, you obviously have to, respect every fighter that you go up against. So if Yair Rodriguez is up next, hats off to him. I just hope that Volk takes it seriously, which I do think he will. Now, I don't know if you guys have been looking at news recently, but moving on to this Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane kind of fight that's about to happen. Jon Jones was actually in a little debacle with this bodybuilder. I don't know if it was at some bodybuilding convention or something, but all I know is that I saw a clip and this guy was shit talking Jon Jones. And, I really just didn't like that guy just shit talking Jon Jones. It seemed like for no reason. Jon Jones seemed to have a super calm demeanor, which I was happy about. But then this guy starts getting really closer to Jon Jones. I don't know how or why people let him get so close, but I don't know if he like touched him. He didn't like punch him, but I think he like touched him or said like you blah 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 blah, and then like poked him or something. And then it looked like Jon Jones' demeanor just like changed. Like he went from ha ha ha, just whatever you're fucking doing, you've got a small fucking dick, ha 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 ha, and then he touched him and he just went super fucking whoo, and was just like killer mode right away. Right when that guy touched him, he just went full fucking. He didn't go full fucking killer mode, but he just went like dead in the face, was ready to just. Like he was in the fucking octagon and about to go 5 rounds. He fucking changed up real quick, and I think that bodybuilder needed to check himself a little bit. Like, dude, this is Jon Jones we're talking about. The greatest, if not one of the greatest of all time to ever step in the octagon, and you think that you're, big muscled, probably fucking juiced up muscles are gonna go up against the greatest of all time in UFC history? Are you fucking dumb, dude? Are you fucking half stupid? Like, what the fuck? Jeez, people just don't learn anything these days. They don't fucking learn from their mistakes. They're not freaking doing the smart thing. Now, Ciryl Gane, on the other hand, he's doing the smart fucking thing. He's showing the fuck up. So, honestly, I think that Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane, if you guys remember a little bit of Jon Jones' last fights, and I understand Thiago Santos is a very good striker, but Ciryl Gane has been at 250 pounds at heavyweight for a while. And I do think that Jon Jones was struggling. I say struggling, but he didn't look like the Jon Jones we all know and love when he was fighting back in 2010, 2011. Maybe I said 2010. Maybe that was a little too early. But in the 2014 era against the DCs and the Lyoto Machidas, I do think that we have a little bit of a different Jon Jones. We saw a little bit of a different Jon Jones in 2019 and 2018. And in my opinion, I do think that the probability of him not looking like he did back in the day, I do think that it could, look a little different. And what I mean by that is it might go all 5 rounds. I do believe against, I could be wrong about the Anthony Lionheart-Smith one, but definitely against Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes in Jon Jones 2019. I might have been 2018 fight. I know definitely the Dominic Reyes, I think, was 2019. But either way, I do think because of those fights and the way that those fights played out, the most recent ones, I believe they all went 5 rounds. And again, maybe the Anthony Lionheart-Smith one didn't. Maybe it did. But either way, I do think because some of them did not look like the old Jon Jones, not saying he didn't look dominant. I'm just saying that, he looked a little bit more human. And in my opinion, I do think that if you bring that to Ciryl Gane, you could slip and end up getting knocked the fuck out. So I just hope Jon Jones is going to be careful versus Ciryl Gane. That is going to be March 4th in 2 weeks, essentially, a little under 2 weeks now. But tune in for this weekend. We're going to be doing a live watch party on the UFC Vegas number 70, I'm assuming it's going to be, as well as Gordon Ryan versus Felipe Pena. It's going to be a no time limit grappling match on the UFC Fight Pass, I believe. Maybe it's on WNO and Flow Grappling, but either way, we're going to be live this Saturday, and we're going to be live March 4th, Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane. Tune in then, and don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think about all the stuff that I just said in the comments, and with that one, have a great fucking day.